Hello guys, in this lesson we are going to do an educational drawing of the plaster model of the eye. It's a plaster model of the David's eye, the work of the great sculptor Michelangelo, drawing which students can work out the construction of the eye, its shape and ways of drawing it. First, we're making a composition, putting the future object on the sheet and with light movements starting to sketch the construction. The cast itself is in the shape of a slab, and it must also be taken into account because as a result of the construction we make perspective lines and show the view of this object. That is, the object is in the foreshortening, according all its elements subject to perspective distortions. That is, they go to perspective. The artist must show all this. At the very beginning of the work on the drawing, wire construction is of great importance. That is, we are constructing a pattern from a wire, basically drawing the framework with simple lines, through which we investigate the construction of the object. It must be said that David is a statue made by the great sculptor of the Renaissance in Italy, Michelangelo. The sculpture was originally made for the decoration of the square in Florence, and later became the subject of museum culture and is now kept in the Florence Academy of Art. To this day, the works of Michelangelo are considered a standard in the sculpture genre, and his frescoes are masterpieces of painting, and contemporary artists study by looking at his works. In this case, we have the element of David's head, his eye. Students very often use it as a model for educational drawing, because with this object the artist gets an idea of how the eye of a person is drawing, which in the future is very important when working in such genre as portrait painting. It's very important to be able to draw all the elements of the face and eyes. Since the eyes are the main elements in the portrait, it's they who attract the viewer's eye, because the first thing we look at when referring to another person is his or her eyes. Therefore, it's very important for any beginner artist to learn how to correctly represent eyes. This is achieved with the help of such trainings that we are conducting in this case on the educational model of David's eye. Now we have already made a drawing and made the construction of his eye and proceed to a light shadow solution, that is, we plot the shadows. At this point the work has been made using strokes. I want to remind you that the strokes are put on the shape of the object, thus emphasizing and manifesting its shape. We are beginning by a stroke in the spot of the shadow, leaving the spot of light untouched. All the shades the artist does after. At first, it's very important to cover all those places that are in the shade. This is important for the integrity of the drawing. After this is done, we begin to work on the nuances, draw the reflexes, we darken the accents in some shadows, and also pay much attention to the form of the object. That is, the form of the object is shown using stroke and form, as we have already said. Also, the shape of the object is manifested by the fact that we depict shadow and light. The shadow is also located exactly in the shape of the object and also helps to understand the manifested shape. We work not only with a pencil but also with an eraser. The eraser serves to draw light. Very often we paint over an object and the light is already drawn with the tip of the eraser. This is a very convenient technique. Since it's sometimes difficult to leave light simply by means of unshaded paper, it's much easier to wipe it with an eraser, which we do. Gradually, the picture becomes more and more complete. Shades, nuances, reflexes appear in it, shadows intensify. The eye is a rather complex object, especially since in our drawing it is unfolded in the foreshortening, and the foreshortening should also be well represented in the construction of this object. It's very important to remember that the gradation of illumination of an object occurs in the following way: shadow, half shadow, light. In the light of the object there is a glare, and in the shadow there must necessarily be a reflex. Given all this, we create our work, following in the footsteps of the great sculptor and artist of his time, Michelangelo. We are putting the last nuances on, show the highlight in the brightest places, and our academic drawing of the educational model, the plaster cast of David's eye, is ready. If you like the drawing lesson, do not forget to like the video and to subscribe to our channel.